Welcome back, everyone. There's a lot of drama happening in Hollywood today, and no, it's not part of the script. Over 65,000 actors, represented by SAG-AFTRA, have joined the thousands of writers that have been on strike since early May, essentially shutting down Hollywood. This is the first time in nearly 6 decades that both actors and writers are refusing to attend work. And if they keep it up, the entertainment industry, film and TV productions across the U.S. will crumble. We'll be keeping a close eye on the strike to see if SAG-AFTRA and the trade group representing the studios end up reaching a deal. But in the meantime, we're excited that this Hollywood shutdown gives alternative media their time to shine, such as Base Records, a new record label that's making their mission to empower free speech and reject woke ideology. Chad Prather is one of the many artists who have recently signed with Base, and he joins me now to explain why. Comedian, conservative commentator, and musician Chad, thank you so much for being with us today. It's great to have you.
It's good to be with you. Good to see you again.
You too. So Chad, before we get into the new record label, which I'm dying to hear all about, I got to know your thoughts. Hollywood stars are on strike. Celebrities are walking off the job, bringing TV and movie production to a historic halt. The real question is here, does anyone care?
I think the people from our walk of life don't really care that much. Hollywood's in a tumble. We see with the recent success of the Sound of Freedom movie over so much of the other big blockbuster films that were supposed to be major hits, just kind of got trounced the first week out. And I think people are wanting to see films with values. I think they're wanting to see art with value behind it. And that seems to be gone. And these days, it's just crumbling. I said for years, Hollywood's a house of cards. It's just a matter of time before the fault line reveals how bad it is, and it's going to fall down in on itself. But we're seeing that happen in many ways.
Yeah, I think we absolutely are, and it's quite it's just stunning to see it all playing out. Really, I think we're really seeing a huge shift in what Americans want and desire through entertainment and film and whatnot, and it's actually incredible to see it all happening. So as far as I'm concerned, they can stay on strike for the next few decades, and that would be a-okay with me. It's funny because I was actually reading a headline that said the union leaders are now blaming Biden-era inflation for the strike. And, I just couldn't help but think, you guys get what you vote for. I mean, you made your bed, now lie in it. They all supported him, so they need to pay the price now. I mean, would you agree?
Yeah, surely 81 million people should be able to come up with the wherewithal and the financial backing to bail out all of these things. But I can't think of a policy that Joe Biden has ever put in place that was positive in any way, shape, or form. And it's funny that the people who claim to support him all this time are now starting to turn on him. We knew it was coming. It was just a matter of time because it is affecting their careers and their pocketbooks.
Yeah, it is. And we tried to warn them, but they didn't want to listen. So maybe now we'll have a little 180 there. Chad, now that all of Hollywood is essentially shut down, it seems like this is just the prime opportunity for alternative media and entertainment to really start shining and to pave a new way as far as culture is concerned. And to tie right into that, I know you have some very exciting news. I want you to tell us all about the new anti-woke record label that you just signed with.
Well, a number of months ago, Matt Azrieli reached out to me with a new concept called Base Records. And Base was basically an anti-woke record label based out of Nashville that can't be canceled. We talk a lot about cancel culture, and the fact that cancel culture exists reminds us that there's somebody pulling the purse strings. Well, when you have people who come along and say, we can't be canceled because you don't support us, you don't owe us anything, we don't have to bow down to the idols that are the entertainment industry, you can go out there and find a lot of artists with common sense, people with creative genius, and folks who can, give a message without a fear of backlash and attack. And so it was great to partner with Based. They're an incredible label. They're emerging, but I'm so excited about what we're going to be bringing to the table alongside multi-platinum songwriter Chris Wallen. He and I are working hand in hand to bring out a new series of songs and just some fun stuff later on this year. And they got some big things in the work. It's time that we talk about a parallel economy, quite honestly. We need to have a parallel culture as well, one of arts and entertainment. Those are important things. They really do convey a message, as we're seeing with many of these films that have come out that have conveyed such a powerful, life-transforming message. Well, the same happens in comedy and music as well. So I encourage people not to scoff at it or laugh at it, but get behind these independent folks. We've seen it with OAN. I've seen it as a host on The Blaze, independent broadcasters, independent labels, and media markets. It's amazing what we can do when we come together and put a message out there without a fear of retaliation.
Yeah, it truly is, and I'm loving seeing it all happen and play out in real time. We're seeing it through many of these boycotts that have happened recently with Target and Bud Light and whatnot. And so there really is this desperate need for not only a parallel economy, but parallel culture as well, as you said. And I really think that's the key to getting through to the younger generations, who are the most susceptible to all the brainwashing, mind you. But I think the culture is truly the way to reach the younger generation. And I just think this is such a prime opportunity that we really need to capitalize on. And as you said, everyone needs to get behind, because this is our time. If we don't act now, I don't know, our country may not be recognizable in the near future. So I need everyone to get on board, and hopefully they are. I think we're seeing the shift happen. Chad, what was your experience prior to being signed with Bass Records? I discovered you in the height of the COVID scamdemic, so I don't actually know your full story, but I would imagine you've probably been canceled from just about everywhere because you're actually funny and you speak the truth. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I've been fortunate enough to really have God's blessings on my life in many ways. I've experienced the deplatforming, the demonetization, the cancel aspects. I've done my time out in Hollywood. I've done my time, working as a live entertainer, both with music and with comedy, in a successful way, because there's a great audience out there that wants common sense, real entertainers that entertain with conviction and values. And so I've been fortunate enough to kind of dive into that. And people say, you shouldn't be so divisive. I'm like, just common sense is divisive these days. So putting it out there and being able to do that, you're going to have the attacks. This is what I told Matt and Chris, the guys at Bass. I said, you're going to be attacked for this. And they said, what we need? We need a generation of happy warriors and entertainers and philosophers that are willing to come out there and throw caution to the wind and put it out there. And I think at the end of the day, the results and the fruit it bears is going to be absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, I totally agree. And we just have to be fearless too, and not let any of the backlash or the attempts from the other side hold us back from saying what needs to be said. And I think the common sense aspect, like you said, is so relatable. I think everyone can get on board with that, because at this point, yes, being sensical is now divisive. So I think more people relate to common sense, and that gives me hope for our country. Chad, how do you think we ultimately really break through the mainstream and get everyone switched over to supporting truth and freedom? Do you think we're sort of on the cusp here of seeing a new Hollywood, so to speak, after everything that's gone on in recent months? I do feel like we're seeing a good shift happening, but I think we need more people to jump on board. How do we get the country just right back on track where we need it to be? I know it's a big undertaking, but do you think it's possible?
Well, I think the entertainment industry, both music, movies, all of it, I think it's dead in the water. I think it's irredeemable in terms of what we have always looked at. We have to have a paradigm shift and change the way we view that world. That world is built on a bad foundation. It's evil at its core. It's exploited people for far too long, and it needs to go away. What we need is some wholesome common sense that comes along. There's a lot of talented people out there that aren't given a platform for one reason or another, and they need to be given that voice. And when they do that, I promise you, you won't miss Hollywood. You won't miss the woke LA, New York, Nashville, Austin, Texas. You won't miss those. And people are going to be just fine with what the results are going to be.
Yeah, that's so true. I think that goes back to what you're saying about, being fearless, speaking out, not holding back, and just speaking the truth. Because when you do, yes, you might lose some people and some followers and some friends in the beginning, but in the end, I think it's so much more rewarding. And what you and I do every day just goes to show there are far more people that support truth and freedom than there are this woke mind virus that has, for some reason, infected the remaining percentage of the country. So yes, I think when people come forward and show real talent and say what needs to be said, there is a far greater support for that than any of the other garbage. Chad, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure speaking with you. Where can people find you and follow you for more of your work?
The easiest place is watchchad.com. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at watchchad. It's the most vain name out there. So just pay attention to what we're doing. There's a lot of big things in the works, and I always appreciate the time with you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. Take care.
For all our viewers asking where One America News is heading in the future, we would like to introduce you to OAN Live. OAN Live is the best way to stay up to date on all of the hard-hitting, straight-shooting, national and international headlines. And the best part is, OAN Live is only $4.99 per month. All the credible, honest, unbiased reporting One America News offers at a fraction of the cost of cable. Just go to OANN.com to easily sign up for OAN Live and stay informed.